Yes, I do believe Derek deserved the win.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So out of all the guys who competed at this past Mr. Olympia, Terrence Ruffin, he had the best routine out of all of them. So he may not have won the Classic Physique Olympia title, but in the eyes of the fans, he was the most classic looking physique on that Olympia stage. And if Terrence ever wins the Olympia, maybe in the future, maybe next year, that will be one of the most incredible stories, just like Ryan Terry. Because in 2026, it will be Terrence's 10th year as a Classic Physique Pro. So he has been one of the most consistent guys in that entire division. Because just take a look at some of the other guys who were competing in Classic back in 2016. So majority of those guys, they have retired. While Terrence, on the other hand, he's still going, still competing, and still improving, and looking at his all-time best. And the man was back in the top 3 this year at the Olympia. Now, the good news for his fans is that Terrence is competing at this upcoming Prague Pro, and you already know he will have a very impressive posing routine. So we are expecting him to dominate that show too, exactly the way he will this weekend in Brazil. Now we can all agree that in order for him to beat either Mike or Ramon, he needs to be a tad bit bigger. What he needs is more size, especially in certain areas, and he needs another big off-season. So he showed interest in doing multiple shows this year and also the Honor to Hire next year too, especially with that added prize money. So we will see whether he goes for that show or whether he decides to take the year off and have a long off-season. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. While so many fans online, so many people, they accuse the judges that Derek Lunsford winning the Olympia this year, that was a robbery. So out of all the guys in the bodybuilding media that I have heard in their Olympia wrap-ups, they all have a similar stance, that it was close between Hadi and Derek. But Derek was the rightful winner because kind of seemed like he gained a lot of ground, especially in terms of size over his competition, more specifically over Hadi Choopan, and he was looking very on during the prejudging. So Quentin Beastwood, who is a huge fan of physiques like Samson Dauda, Andrew Jagged, here is his response on Derek winning.
Yes, I do believe Derek deserved the win.
Colossus Ken, another IFBB pro, he maintained a similar stance on Derek winning, and Ian Valier, who actually was there in attendance at this show, he had Derek clearly winning the prejudging, and he also explained his viewpoint on the massive criticism that Derek has been getting over his conditioning, over his front double biceps, specifically the bicep spot. So you can either listen to the Menace podcast or Fuad's podcast. All of them seem very fine, with Derek Lunsford winning the show. So would there have been any complaints if Hadi Choopan won that show? Absolutely not. We can all agree on that. But people calling it a robbery and comparing this win of Derek to the win of 97 when Dorian Yates won over Nasser Al-Sombate, then that is very unfair to Derek. Honestly, what benefit does Ian or Quentin or any of these other guys have agreeing with the decision of Derek winning the Olympia? Now, I agree, he wasn't more shredded than Hadi Choopan, he wasn't more conditioned. But if we go back and look at the comparisons between Hadi and Samson from last year, Samson wasn't the most ripped guy either compared to Hadi Choopan. But overall, he brought a better package, and that is why the judges, they gave him the nod. And again on that note, I'm gonna add this. I 100% think that the best of Hadi Choopan, that is still the best bodybuilder, and he's gonna win the Olympia again if he comes in the way he did for the Honor to Hire last year, especially from the bottom half. The fact is he needs to fix that right leg of his because the judges, they are marking him down big time for that. So there are two shows happening this weekend in the Men's Open. Now the one I am more excited to see, that is Mexico Pro, because we're gonna see an amazing matchup between Tonio Burton and Shaun Terrence, and that is something about which I am very excited. So this will be another chance for Shaun Terrence to come in a bit heavier, a bit fuller compared to what we saw at the Olympia. Although his version at the Olympia this year, that was arguably the best of Shaun. Now Tonio Burton on the other hand, he's also looking pretty damn insane. So this update right here, that is about 3 days out from the upcoming Mexico Pro. And I must say, the proportions on this guy, they are so damn insane. And the major reason for that is the quad sweep. That is bonkers. So combine that with a small tiny waistline and very thick and wide lats. That gives him the perfect X-frame. A very impressive V-taper. Not to mention the back on him, top to bottom, that is very complete. So this is gonna be one hell of a matchup. But let me know what you guys think. Who will come out on top? So realistically speaking, who is that one guy in the third Olympia call-out who has the best shot of moving into that top 10 next year at the Olympia? That is Jordan Hutchinson. Yes, I know Regan has far better aesthetics and a far better shape, but he might never be big enough. Rubiel is huge, but we never know whether he will ever be truly shredded and ripped to the bone. But with Jordan, you can say that with absolute certainty that the man is on the right track. And the one guy that impressed Jay Cutler the most in that group, that was Jordan. Now, I am very surprised why Jordan isn't doing one of these upcoming shows. He looks to be in an awesome shape 5 days post-Olympia. And at this point, all he needs is another big off-season like he had this year, where he was able to put on almost 10 pounds of quality muscle. So I can clearly see why Jay Cutler was so impressed with Jordan Hutchinson. That guy is only 28 years old, and from the prejudging, here is a comparison of him versus Regan, who by the way has been a pro for almost 8 years now, and still doesn't have that hard and dense look to his muscles that Jordan had on his Olympia debut. So Jordan was the rightful winner of this year's Tampa Pro and Texas Pro. Plus he has shown us all how consistent he can be in terms of peaking for every show that he enters. So this guy has got a very bright future ahead. All he needs is to make sure he doesn't blow out his waistline trying to put on more muscle and more mass. So this is one rare sight where the Persian Wolf, the people's champ, Hadi Choopan appears to be enjoying a post-Olympia cheat meal with his coach Hani Rambod. So the man has got 3 Olympia runner-up placings. And the irony is that he could have won every single one of them and no one would have complained. And the most heartbreaking thing for Hadi Choopan is that he has been missing by just a hair from winning the Olympia again. So do you guys realize that he beat the defending Olympia champion twice in the last 2 years? In 2024, he beat Derek, who was the reigning champ, but he failed to win that title. And this year, he beat Samson, but again, he failed to win. So who else feels that Hadi Choopan, he should 100% jump into the Arnold Ohio next year? He doesn't need a long off season. He doesn't need to grow. Pound for pound, he's one of the most dense looking guy on the Olympia stage, and missing out on 750 grand. That will be a huge opportunity missed. So it was a very big surprise to see Hadi's back looking so competitive against the likes of Derek. And at one point at the finals, it kind of seemed like that he was winning even the back double biceps. And now there are very little gaps between those two. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.